Hey YouTube. Well, I haven't found anything on the curb lately. And on top of that, these two mowers, the ones that I worked on switching the wheels on, I actually had the yellow wheels on the push mower. Well, I switched them around. Reason being, I remembered that I had some front wheel drive yellow wheels in my hoard of wheels. So that's where we are with these two mowers. I was actually mowing with the front wheel drive mower the last time I mowed, and the engine, it kept dying on me. It just does not have enough power to run. This is the engine that was locked up, and I think inside it's just too far damaged. It's not going to work on this self-propelled. I'm not going to sell this engine to anybody. So I took off the blade adapter and blade, and now I need an engine. And on the push mower, the engine, you may recall, had a bent crankshaft, and I straightened it. Well, I got a text message from a customer I sold a mower to last October, and he said, the mower's not working, can you come look at it? So I did. And the mower I sold him was very similar to this. I have the big back wheels. The one I sold him does not. Long story short, the Tecumseh engine on his mower, it threw a rod. Didn't throw it through the block, but it threw a rod. Had no compression, the piston was stuck in the cylinder. So, to try to make it up to the guy, I gave him the engine that was on this deck. I went out to his house, picked up his mower, put the good engine, the Briggs engine, on his mower, and gave it back to him. So, I need an engine for this mower now too. So I went looking through all my junk. I have this overhead valve Briggs engine. In the past I've adjusted the valves on it, and I don't know if the compression release on the camshaft is broken or just what, but you pull the rope and it binds up, it almost like it's hydrolocked. So I'm not going to keep this engine on here. Maybe someday I'll take the sump off and take a look at it. So I was looking through the junk engines in the back of my garage, trying to see if I had anything that might be salvageable. Right there, that's the Tecumseh engine that threw a rod. It's got a new carburetor that I put on it. I'm going to keep that. But I had two Briggs engines. This one here, I've already taken them apart. I had one Briggs engine that knocked. I had another Briggs engine that had a scratched up cylinder. So I was hoping that the engine with the scratched cylinder might have a good crankshaft and connecting rod, and that I could put it in the engine that knocked that had a bad crankshaft and connecting rod. And that's exactly what I've done. I cleaned up the sump. I did a test fitting of the crankshaft. Journals nice and smooth. There's my camshaft, oil slinger, end cap, my tappets, and there's the engine block with the good cylinder right there. I cleaned it out tonight. I'm letting it dry. Still need to clean the carbon off of the top of the piston. This engine did run, so I know that the rings and the piston should be okay. It just knocked with the previous connecting rod. And when I put this one in, just as a test fit, and I used the end cap from the other motor, it didn't have any play in it. So this is what I'm working on. My plan for this engine, I've already checked it. This is the blade adapter for my self-propelled Craftsman. That blade adapter fits this shaft. So I want this engine to go on my self-propelled lawnmower. This one. I was looking around in my junk engines and I found that I had this Tecumseh that I yanked off of a Toro. I don't believe it's thrown a rod because I tried to pull the rope out and I hold down the brake and it feels like it has compression. It's got the spark plug in it. I'm hoping that I took this engine off because it has a bent crankshaft. That's what I'm hoping. I don't remember. I took this off so long ago. But if that is the case, maybe we can put it on our Craftsman push mower, straighten the crankshaft, take off that Toro cover, put on my red Craftsman Tecumseh cover, and maybe then I'll have a good engine again. We shall see. Here we are, the next day. Got my block and my sump all nice and clean. I'm still working in the garage because it's windy again. But I'm going to put the crankshaft back in today. Oil up the journals, reconnect it to the connecting rod, oil that up, put the end cap back on. And then once that's in, I'm waiting for a gasket. I ordered a gasket for the crankcase. I'm waiting for that to come in. But in the meantime, I'll have the crankshaft at least hooked back up, and then we can go back to the head and the top of the piston and get all the carbon cleaned off there. The crankshaft is installed. I don't feel any play there. That's good. I got the end cap and the bolts torqued down to 100 inch-pounds. So now I'm going to try to clean the carbon off the top of the piston. In order to keep my crankcase clean, I'm going to set my sump on top. Like I said, I don't have the gasket, so I can't put everything back together. But at least if I put the sump on, it'll act like a lid, hopefully, and keep this carbon from getting in there because that's all nice and clean. There's a nice pile of carbon on the garage floor. And there's the engine. Cleaned up pretty good. So I think I'll leave it right here for now. I gotta wait for my gasket. Okay, peeps. For the last half hour to an hour I've been horsing around with this Toro Tecumseh engine. I put it on the Craftsman. Let's see what it does. I think I yanked this engine off of a Toro because it sounds like it's just starting to knock. What do you guys think? It just doesn't sound quite right to me. I don't know if a little Lucas will help that, but I don't think I'm going to leave it on here and sell it like this. I just don't think I trust it. But it was fun to give it one last run here today. I got to take that blade off of here. I borrowed the blade from the lawn boy in order to hear this run. So gonna have to come up with a plan B for this guy. It's the next day. The sun's out. It's not windy. And I got some parts. It's time to put this baby back together. All the innards are back in and oiled up. Let's put on our brand new gasket and our nice clean sump. Actually, I'm going to put some oil on the inside of the bottom end of the sump here. There we go. And we'll get it all bolted back down. The sump is reinstalled. All the bolts I torqued down to 100 inch-pounds. Time to get this baby on a deck. The blade's on, and the engine is mounted to the deck. Now let's get the top end of the motor back together. The head is back on, and so is the flywheel. And we put the oil dipstick back in. Okay people, we got oil in it. I put a little gas in the tank. Well, it runs. I'm not quite sure how healthy it sounds. It may have a slight knock to it too. So I'll keep an eye on it. I did put some Lucas in it to kind of thicken up the oil. But we'll see. I'm not out anything. It was fun to mess around. Thanks for watching.